years ago, we witnessed one of the country's most terrible tragedies here in New York. Lives were lost and our country was forever changed. On the 20th anniversary of 9/11, our agents recall the impact that day made on their lives and why they have chosen to protect the United States as part of IRS criminal investigation. On 9/11, I wasn't working at criminal investigation at the time, but I was in Manhattan. I was working at a public accounting firm, sitting at a client's office in Midtown. Someone came in and said a plane had hit one of the towers. Nobody really thought anything of it because we assumed it was a small plane that had an accident that hit the tower.
So on 9/11, I was at our New York headquarters office at 290 Broadway, and my wife had given me a call earlier that morning after the first plane hit. And she was on the bus getting into the city. She was 8 months pregnant with our first son. And the bus stopped right outside the tunnel, which was blocks from the World Trade Center. And she called me and said she had to get to work, so she was going to walk to the train station that's closer to the World Trade Center. So another agent and I walked down towards to see what was going on. And as we were walking down, the second plane hit, and then it was just chaos.
As we watched the second plane hit, I recall all the shocked faces and the loud cries, and then the slamming of cabinets from the agents gearing up to secure the building, the garage, and our surroundings.
The second plane really hit home, where it made you think about a lot of different things and what was going on. 30 minutes later, when the third plane hit the Pentagon, that's when I think everybody's hair started standing up, and the feeling of like disbelief now became, we need to do something or react.
Initially, we were going out to Fresh Kills landfill, and we would sift and look for identifiable things. First, we were looking for the black box, which was the priority, but we were also looking for things that were identifiable for FDNY, NYPD. There was customs and IRS, actually, New York field office. We had offices at the World Trade Center. So we were looking for our own things too, federal items, as well as, unfortunately, human remains.
We went, and when I say I or we, there was a team of so many different agents from different agencies. So that's really the takeaway from this, is like so many people working together on this thing. But at the Staten Island landfill, I stood on an assembly line where the trucks were bringing in debris from the site, and we were just looking through the debris, looking for, again, any evidence, any human remains, anything that would help in trying to figure out what happened, who did it, and who lost their lives that day. The thing that I remember, and I don't know why I remember it, but there was a high heel shoe, a red high heel shoe that was melted. And when I saw it, those types of things hit you, where somebody was in that shoe when this thing happened. And that's what made it a lot more real.
I had a 10-year-old daughter because she's now 30. And, the destruction of a peachy pink world all turned gray. She was in Catholic school. And they told me that they would not show her what was going on, but of course, 10-year-old and other kids, she would know. See, I live in a hospital zone area. Biggest hospitals, New York University, Bellevue. I'm 2 blocks away from 13th Precinct, and a block away from the Armory on 26th and Lexington Avenue. Between 2 fire stations, 14th Street and 29th Street. The sounds of helicopters flying very low above us, and no ending sound of sirens 24/7 for weeks. I just felt that was an impact on her. There was no escaping it for her. But the saddest and the greatest loss of life, I had to explain.
9/11 had a profound impact on me, as it did many people who were in New York and others around the country that day. Once I realized what was happening, I watched the first responders. I saw how they reacted. I decided I wanted to be a part of that community. I wanted to help. I wanted to serve my country in any way possible. Within 2 months, I applied to IRS criminal investigation because I knew that's where I needed to be. As I think and recall about that day, I realized as soon as we realized what happened, I wasn't afraid. I didn't have that fear in me. I was wondering why I wasn't afraid. So at that point, I decided, I'm going to harness the anger that I had and the feelings that I did have and put that to use in service to my country.
With the anniversary coming up, anniversaries are always an interesting event. They're always tough for some people and frustrating for others. It's been a lot of change over the last 20 years because of what happened, and as you can see in the news today. So it was definitely a defining moment in my life and probably everybody who was in the New York field office at the time.
On the 20th anniversary of 9/11, the significance of working in New York, the flagship office of the country, it's that I've always lived in New York and I have a sense of pride when it comes to New York. New York, I think, is and always was, and I think always will be, a hub of different, artistic, economic, financial activity. That's why the Twin Towers were targeted, because that's the reason, in my mind anyway. And it happened 20 years ago, but New York is still that. Like, we still have that coming together of people and business and different entities. And so the involvement of everything around us is there. Then that's what makes New York so great to work in.
It's a great honor to work for CI. I am happy to be here. They always made me feel secure. And to be a part of it, instead of sitting home and just watching everything go on and knowing that they have a part of it, it's a great honor.
Some of the things that I learned that I could impart on other people and the newer agents is that, that happened 20 years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it also feels like it just happened, the other day. Your life, your career at IRS, happens in the blink of an eye. You have to really enjoy it. You have to make the best you can out of it. This is a great place to work. I've had a great career. I've done a lot of good things, and you never know when things can change. So you have to really appreciate, take advantage of the opportunities that you have.
It's hard to believe that it's been 20 years since 9/11. It seems like it happened just yesterday. That memory will stay with us forever. I did want to say that, we use the term heroes a lot lately, but the people that are truly heroes were the men and women of the New York field office and all of the first responders who responded to the tragedy that day. As everyone else was running away from danger, they were running towards it. Those are the people we need to keep alive in our memories, keep the legacy alive. We will always remember those who lost their lives on 9/11. And as public servants, we continue to serve with valor, dedication, and patriotism. If you're ever in New York City, I welcome you to visit the New York field office. Our lobby now features historical artifacts from September 11th, 2001.